Hi, this is Joe from RXHealthyHabits, and in today's video, I'm going to go through and cover some things that you might need to be aware of before you begin your exercise program. I know that some of these things might be some common sense for many, but for myself, it was really good to have some terms clarified and terminology that I kept hearing when I started exercise, and I think this is going to be helpful. So first, I just want to highlight that some videos I did previously or that are on our RX Healthy Habits YouTube channel. There's one on target heart rate, and there's another one on NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, where I talk about some of the non-exercise activity that you can do to help get your total energy expenditure up. But in this video, we're going to be talking about exercise activity thermogenesis. So let me define that term real quick to you. Exercise activity thermogenesis is defined as planned, structured, and repetitive physical activity that has the sole objective of improving your health. So exercise activity thermogenesis is purposeful exercise. So let's go through and talk a little bit about what we're going to cover. We're going to go through and talk about what the American Heart Association guidelines say about exercise for adults. We're going to define the categories of exercise. We're going to talk about the benefits and risks to consider as you begin and on your journey. We're going to talk about where to start, and we're going to talk about what's your goals. So that's going to be important. And I think the last thing I'd like to do is I'm going to talk a little bit about our next video. We're going to get into some specifics about what you want to consider before you begin your program relative to some key points that are going to help, I guess, increase your chances that whatever program you start on, you're going to stick with, because that's a big thing. You want to make sure that you begin a program, but you stay with it. And let's do this. I want to begin with the end in mind, because let's talk about the rewards. Because for me, I am so thrilled that I decided to take this journey a while back, 3 years ago actually, and really try to embrace some of these guidelines that were out there from the American Heart Association. And we're going to talk about those, but let's first talk about the rewards that they tout are going to come from exercise. These are the big wins. Lower risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, reduces high blood pressure, dementia and Alzheimer reduction. It also may help with several types of cancer, incident reduction, and help alleviate some complications of pregnancy. So you're talking about a reduction of some things that most people in this country struggle with, a high percentage, and that is cardiovascular disease and heart disease. And we're not saying by exercising you're going to better prevent yourself from getting those. Not at all. What we're saying is, and what the American Heart Association is, it reduces your chances of having some of those. So number two, better sleep, including improvements in insomnia and some sleep apneas. So that's interesting. They also said it includes cognitive function, including memory and attention and processing speed. So I guess you want to think faster, you got to go exercise. Less weight gain, obesity, and related chronic conditions. Now here's a biggie. In America, 42% of Americans 18 to 59 are considered to be obese. Obese is defined as a BMI, body mass index, of above 30. So there's a calculator on RX Healthy Habits. Check out, see what your BMI is. This is a biggie, and this is one of the big benefits of beginning exercise. Better quality of life and sense of well-being. I can attest to the fact that when I don't get a chance to exercise because of a couple days of my schedule at work, boy, I can tell the difference. So let's go down the AHA guidelines. Let's highlight some of those. The American Heart Association guidelines for exercise in adults. Number one, they talk about all adults should move more and sit less. That sounds like a no-brainer, but any amount of moderate to vigorous exercise is going to have benefits, any amount. So that's key. Number two, they talk about for substantial health benefits to really put yourself in a better healthy position and really elevate your health, and that is to do at least 150 minutes to up to 300 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercise. Now, people say, I don't have that much time. Well, start where you're at and try to get to 150 minutes, and then from there try to get to 300. Or after you get to that point and you run out of time, sometimes you can do what they call a more intense, vigorous exercise where you can do 75 minutes or an hour and 15 minutes per week, or 150 minutes, which is 2 hours and 30 minutes per week. So you cut the time in half if you can do it vigorous. Now, I don't recommend that in the beginning at all. But that's something that you can get up to if you have some time constraints. Additional health benefits are seen above 300 minutes per week of moderate to vigorous exercise, and I can attest to that. I try to make this an important part of my week where I schedule out time so I can get that because I know the benefits. You also should spread that activity throughout the week. Don't try to do it all in a couple of days. Spread it out over the week. Adults should also consider doing, they also should, according to the guidelines, do muscle strength activities with moderate to greater intensity that involves all the major muscle groups. And that should be 2 days a week. So that's the guidelines. They want you to do that 2 days a week. So the moderate to vigorous strength training, muscle strengthening. And what they say is by doing that, there's additional benefits beyond just doing, let's say, your cardio. So let's talk about that term cardio because it's thrown around a lot. You heard about cardio exercise. Really, there's two categories of exercise. And I know this might sound a little simplistic. There might be more, but for our purposes right now, there's two. There's aerobic or anaerobic. So let's go and define those. Aerobic is any cardiovascular conditioning or cardio during cardio. So any type of cardiovascular conditioning, they call it cardio, aerobic. So during cardiovascular conditioning, your breathing and heart rate increase for a sustained period of time. This is key, sustained period of time. Examples of aerobic exercise include swimming laps, running, or cycling. And you can see I have my shirt on, just got off my bike. I did an hour of sustained exercise, that's aerobic. Now, your respiration rate differs in aerobic activities versus anaerobic. Your respiration is going to be sustained, but also your oxygen is going to be your main source during aerobic exercise and aerobic workouts. You're going to breathe, obviously, faster and deeper when your heart rate during aerobic than when your heart is at rest, when you're not doing any exercise. That's obvious. We're going to talk about in another video the target heart range that you want to be in for your age-specific target heart rate, but that's another video. But make sure you definitely check that out before you start. So here's some examples of aerobic exercise. And this is going to involve muscles in your arms, legs, hips. It's your whole body, typically. It doesn't have to be, but typically. Your heart rate's going to go up for a sustained period of time. What do we got? Jogging, brisk walking, not strolling, brisk walking. Swimming laps, aerobic dancing like Zumba. Cross-country skiing, stair climbing. I lived in an apartment in New York for a while, and I found that there was, during lockdown, we couldn't use the gym, so guess what? The stairs are my friend. I would do 30 or 40 up to 8 floors and down now, because that's where my physical fitness level was, and I didn't want it to drop. Cycling, that's my favorite. That's me. Not everybody likes cycling, but it's become really one of the most sought-after exercise I do. Elliptical training and rowing, another great one. What are the benefits of aerobic exercise? Now, we talked about the benefits of exercise in general. Let's talk about specifically the benefits of aerobic exercise. This is a biggie. Aerobic exercise can offer numerous benefits to your health, including reducing your risk of heart attack and type 2 diabetes. What's the number 1 and 2 morbidity and mortalities in the country? It's cardiovascular and type 2 diabetes. So huge. So aerobic activity, cardio, big. Here's some other benefits specifically about aerobic exercise. It can help you lose weight and keep it off. I think if you're going to try to have a healthy habit of healthy eating, you also have to have a habit of healthy exercise. Sure, call it that. You have to have a consistent exercise program. Lower blood pressure and control your blood pressure. Increase your stamina, reduce fatigue during exercise and not during exercise. I don't yawn as much when I'm exercising on a regular basis at work. I don't have that because my stamina is so much higher. I'm 61. I stand up 12 hours a day in a pharmacy, and some of the people younger than me can't do the 12-hour shifts. Activate your immune system, huge, making you less likely to get colds or flu. And I'm not going to say that it could reduce your chances of COVID, but I'll tell you what, if you looked at the numbers, the people that were the sickest, it was the ones that were not probably doing activity on a regular basis. There's some exceptions, but most of the people that were normal weight and took care of themselves had less choke. Now, not everybody. Some people, we lost some people that were like athletic, but very, 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 very low numbers. Strengthens your heart, boosts your mood, may help you live longer than people that don't exercise. That's a big one. Now, what are some of the risks of aerobic exercise? Here's the biggest one I think that most people make a mistake of. They start too fast. They try to do too much too fast. So start slow. It can benefit almost anyone, but if you've been active for a long time and never been exercising, even doing some, aerobic exercise or cardio, you really need to check with your healthcare provider to make sure you're fit enough for exercise. And I would say if you're going to start slow. Start out doing maybe 5-minute brisk walks or 5-minute stroll walks, then go up to 10 minutes, 15 minutes until you can get up to the 150 minutes per week. Just because the biggest risk for a lot of people with aerobic is they try to do too much too soon. So anaerobic exercise. This is a definition you want to understand. This will really help you clarify it because it clarified for me. Anaerobic exercise involves quick bursts of energy and are performed at a maximum effort for a short period of time. This includes things like jumping, sprinting, and heavy weightlift training. It might be a HIIT circuit training where you're doing high intensity interval training. These are anaerobic. These are short bursts of time that you're really getting probably on that 70 to 85% of your target heart rate. You're really pushing. And here's the thing. During anaerobic exercise, your body requires immediate energy. Your body relies on stored energy sources rather than oxygen. So it's not oxygen like when you're doing sustained activity with aerobic. This is going to have to take energy stores somewhere else besides just oxygen and to fuel itself. And this includes breaking down glucose. And of course, you'll find out that also with anaerobic exercise, you're going to break down fat because fat sometimes has to be broken down to get glucose. So examples of anaerobic exercise. Anaerobic exercise include the following. Now, again, these are performed at maximum effort for a shorter period of time. High intensity interval training, weightlifting, calisthenics, sprinting, while running, cycling, or swimming. So here's the thing. If you want to get some anaerobic activity in your aerobic activity, you can do it, I found, is if I'm on my road cycle and I'm going along about 120 or 130 target heart rate beats per minute, I say I'm going to really push it on this hill. I'm going to see if I can get up to 145, 150, maybe 155 heart rate. Now that will put me in an anaerobic zone, and now my body is going to start to feel the lactic acid build up. I'm going to start to feel some other things, and it's not enough by me breathing to sustain. So I can't do those for a very long period of time. For a short burst, though, you can. What are some of the benefits of anaerobic exercise? So the benefits you're going to find are going to be looking to build muscle mass. So especially if you're doing, weight training, heavy weight training. And it's also going to build your muscle mass, but secondarily, it's going to help you lose weight. So can you outrun your fork or outlift your fork? No. Your fork is still going to be a big factor, but understand that it could be more beneficial than just doing cardio for some weight loss. If you've been exercising for a long time and you feel like you hit a plateau and you're not able to push through to meet a new goal, I think you need to add some anaerobic exercise. And then here's the thing for me. It's 60 years of age. Well, 61. Going to be 62 pretty soon. I constantly working on maintaining muscle mass because as I get older, I lose it. And so that's another reason for anaerobic exercise, specifically for weightlifting training. So what are some other benefits? Strengthens bones. This is a big thing, especially for females with chance for osteopenia, osteoporosis. Burns fat, builds muscle, increases stamina for activities like hiking, dancing, or playing with kids. So your grandkids, if you want to have more energy, you might want to start adding in after you get your routine down, some anaerobic exercise. So what are some of the risks? Some of the risks of anaerobic exercise are this. It can be hard on your body. So if you perceive an exertion level on a scale of 1 to 10, when you're doing anaerobic exercise, plan on 7 or above is the range you want to be in, 7 or above. So obviously, it's going to be a little bit more stressful, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's going to be not as comfortable. It's not recommended for beginners. If you're just starting out in fitness, I would not recommend this. And definitely the only way I would recommend you do that is if you're under the guidance of a trained physical fitness expert. Don't try to do it on your own. Here's a takeaway from AHA, American Heart Association. Aerobic and anaerobic exercises can be beneficial to your health depending on your goals and fitness level. They recommend you start with aerobic, just like we talked about. Aerobic exercise such as walking, jogging, strength training 2 or 3 times a week. So they want you to start out that way and then add in the strength training. And as you build up endurance, add in other things, especially more anaerobic activities like high intensity interval training and heavy weightlifting. This is going to help you, these exercises are going to help you with your muscle, burn fat, and increase your exercise stamina. So that's kind of like a summation or a takeaway that they like to give when they give their guidelines. And some of this is repetitive, but you know what? You can never hear enough about how we need to really get a handle on this part if we're going to develop a healthy habit. So again, before you do anything, you should check with your healthcare provider and make sure you're fit enough for exercise. Can't stress that enough. I've seen some people do some things that were not too smart, but also I've seen people give up too early because they got some strains, muscle pulls, or they got really lightheaded and dizzy from cardio. So check with your healthcare provider. And I'm gonna suggest that if you like some of the information we shared, we have a lot of video series coming out on our YouTube channel called RXHealthyHabits. I recommend you click the subscribe button and get on board so you can have this information at your fingertips. And these other series coming out are going to deal with maybe some how to eat healthier. We're going to have some fun with that. We're going to have some other things about hydration. We're going to have some things about getting good sleep. And sometimes something that people don't really realize about your health is you got to keep yourself out of harm's way with your environment. So we got some stuff we're going to be talking about on that too. So check out the links on the RX Healthy Habits YouTube channel for some of the calculators. If you got questions, email me with those questions or comments. It's the email address is joerxhealthyhabits@gmail.com. That's I'm sorry, that was wrong. Email me at joerxhh@gmail.com. That's joerxhh@gmail.com. And again, we're going to be doing some other video series in these other categories. But I just want to throw this out too. My wife and I, both pharmacists, we started RX Healthy Habits because we realized that so many people out there really don't have a way to develop a high level of self-health care. And really it come down to us finding the healthy habits and embracing them. But we did it by jumping on a program that was very comprehensive, had a lot of history, a lot of science behind it. And we jumped on a program that took us through from A to Z, from the thought of, let's say I need to lose 40 pounds, all the way to a point where now we're optimizing our health. And at our age, we can do more than we could 20 years ago, all because we followed the program. And what we did, we gave up some eating out money that we were spending. We gave up some of the coffee lattes at Starbucks or whatever, and we invested a small amount of money that we had in our budget into learning how to really get on a track for a lifelong transformation to optimal health. So